Hey guys, welcome back. So for this episode, I thought we've already done 5 fall lip colors for you. Why not do 5 of my favorite nail polishes? Now, similarly to that video, I thought I would start off with something on the lighter side and then go to the deeper shades. Actually, now that I think about it, my nail polish choices are very similar to my lip color choices. That actually wasn't planned, but we're here, so we're just gonna go for it. I'm sharing a couple different price points here for you guys, but I did try and give you some drugstore options for some of the higher end nail polishes that I have for you, because I know not everybody wants to spend like $32 on a nail polish. But a lot of the ones that I have from the drugstore are Essie, so I really like the brand. I feel like they're pretty affordable and have a great color range, and the formula is pretty good. So the first one here is Essie's Master Plan. I like this one because it's a nude, but it's slightly darker, and it has a nice gray tone to it. So even if you aren't into some of the deeper, darker shades that are typically very fall, I feel like if you want to stay really neutral, you can still add a little bit of edge to that look by getting something that's a little bit more on the gray side, or even a little bit on the more cool purpley side. That's what I tend to do, at least. Next, going a little bit deeper, this is another Essie polish. This is Smokin' Hot. This is one example of a polish that I've had in my collection for a really long time. It never fails me if I am looking for something to go back to. It's a really nice kind of minky purple gray color. It's also that kind of nice in-between shade where it's not a total nude and it's not a totally dark, deep, vampy, like black color. So this is a nice middle ground. Now, of course, I had to mention some reds, and when I think of a fall red, I think of something very romantic, has a little bit more of that like crimson, rich, like romantic, sexy kind of vibe. So the one I have here is by Oribe, and I don't know if many of you knew that Oribe did nail polishes. I feel like that's a new thing this year. I could be wrong, but this one is called Bloodstone, and this is one of my favorite colors overall. It's also an incredible formula. That's one thing that I would say is really nice about this particular high-end polish, is that the formula is incredible. These have been absolutely beautiful and stayed like really beautiful and silky. You can layer them really easily. I usually do about 2 coats of this to get a slightly darker, richer red. If you just did 1 coat, you would have a slightly more vibrant apple kind of red. But I love this color and I love this formula. Unfortunately, off the top of my head, I don't have an exact dupe as far as drugstore goes for this. I'm sure Essie has one that's very similar, but I do have one that's by Smith & Colt that is very similar in color, and this one's called Lover's Creep. And this one is still a little higher priced. I think this one is almost $20, and the formula isn't as great, but the color is very close. So just in my personal collection, I found that these two were very similar, but I'm sure you can find something from OPI or Essie that is very similar. I just don't know which one that is off the top of my head, and I don't own it currently. But if you happen to know a drugstore dupe off the top of your head, please feel free to leave it in the comments, because I'm sure it'll be really helpful for everyone. So next up, this is a slightly deeper, darker red that I'm wearing on this hand right here. This is Essie's Wicked. I'm sure a lot of you that follow me for a really long time saw this one coming. This has been in my collection for probably like 6 years, not this particular bottle, but you know, this shade is always there, and I always tend to go back to it in the fall. It's a really beautiful, almost black red, but you can still see that while I'm applying it, it still has a true like red color to it. So this one has always been in my collection. It's a go-to for me. I'm sure a lot of you guys also have it in your collection, but I just thought I would go ahead and mention it. And I also wanted to mention it because it isn't an exact dupe for this one. There is a slight difference. So this one is lighter, this one is slightly darker. And then finally, the last nail polish I have for you is by Oribe again, and this one is called Night Orchid. This is the deepest, darkest shade that I own. It is the closest thing that I have to black. I don't tend to like to wear a true black because I find that it's not as complementary to my skin tone. I think it washes me out. Any dark color is gonna kind of wash you out, but I just find a true black makes me look a little bit more sallow, I think, on my hands. Not that necessarily anybody else cares about that, but I just find that something that is close to black but that has a little bit more of a purple or has a little bit more of a red to it is a little bit more complementary to my skin tone. But if you don't want to, again, buy the Oribe for the formula or what have you, this is a very close dupe, if not almost an exact dupe, for Linkin Park After Dark by OPI, which I think is probably just a go-to standard again in OPI's formula. So OPI, Linkin Park After Dark. If you don't want to get the Oribe, those are your 2 options. So that's it for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you guys thought in the comment section. Let me know what some of your favorite fall polishes are. Let me know if there's a brand out there that you particularly like. Maybe there's one that I haven't tried yet. But yeah, thank you so much for watching as always, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.